You can't heal in the same place you got poisoned. That line right there, my friends, is the truth most people run from, because deep down, they already know it's over. But they keep trying to drink from the same cup that broke them. They call it love, but it's really self-torture dressed up in nostalgia. Now imagine this. You're standing in a burning house, but instead of walking out, you keep trying to save the smoke. That's what emotional attachment feels like when you know something's done, but you can't stop going back. You replay the laughs, the hugs, the late-night "I miss you" messages, hoping they'll mean something new this time. But they won't. You're not healing. You're inhaling the same smoke that's been choking your peace. My friends, detachment isn't coldness. It's not pretending you don't care. It's finally learning to stop setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. That's the hard part nobody tells you. Everyone says, let go, but nobody talks about how your hands are bleeding because you've been gripping what's already gone. You see, most of us don't struggle with moving on. We struggle with breaking the story we told ourselves about who they were, what it could have been, and how it was supposed to end. But that story, my friends, was written in sand, and the tide already came. You just don't want to open your eyes and see that it's washed away. Let me be real with you. Detachment is scary because it feels like death at first, the death of a habit, the death of a dream, the death of the version of you that needed them to feel alive. But every death in your life has also been a doorway. The moment you finally stop chasing what's behind you, you make room for what's meant to meet you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it." That means the heartbreak isn't killing you, your attachment to what it meant is. And once you change your meaning, you change your power. Picture your heart like a room. If it's still cluttered with their memories, their clothes, their energy, how can peace move in? You've got to clean the house. Open the windows, let some light in. That's what we're doing here today. Emotional spring cleaning. And look, I get it. It's not easy. Sometimes it feels like you're tearing away a piece of yourself, but you're not. You're just peeling away what never truly belonged. That's why it hurts. Because it's breaking illusions, not reality. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to detach so fast it actually scares the living mess out of you. Because once you master this, once you realize you don't need closure, you don't need validation, you don't need them to apologize, that's when the real glow-up begins. That's when peace replaces panic. That's when confidence replaces confusion. And if you're watching this right now, it's not by accident. You were meant to hear this today. Maybe this is your wake-up call. Maybe this is the sign you prayed for. Maybe this is your reminder that it's not love you're losing. It's the weight you were never supposed to carry. So stay with me, my friends. This one's going to hit hard. But on the other side of it, freedom. Real, unshakable, quiet freedom. Type this in the comments so it sticks with you. I choose peace. Go ahead. Say it, write it, own it. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's start detaching like warriors. Number 1, stop feeding what's trying to die. You can't heal a wound you keep touching just to see if it still hurts. That line hits different, doesn't it? Because deep down, you already know that's exactly what you've been doing. You keep checking their page, refreshing their stories, decoding their silence like it's a hidden message meant for you. You keep touching the wound, not to heal it, but to feel something, anything. But here's the truth, my friends. The reason you can't detach isn't because you're weak. It's because you're still feeding what's trying to die. Imagine a plant that's already rotted at the roots. No matter how much water you pour, no matter how much sunlight you give, it won't bloom again. But still, you stand there every morning, watering dead soil, hoping it'll rise back to life. That's you when you keep feeding your attachment. You're watering something that no longer has the ability to grow. And I get it. You think, maybe if I just check one more time, maybe if I just send one more message, maybe if I just show them I still care, they'll remember what we had. But my friends, what you had lives in your memory, not in their reality anymore. The moment you start replaying highlight reels in your mind, you forget how heavy the behind the scenes really was. You forget the nights you couldn't sleep, the lies they told with a straight face, the moments they made you question your worth. You forget the truth because pain has a strange way of making you crave the very thing that hurt you. They might have moved on, or maybe they're still lurking, giving you mixed signals, throwing breadcrumbs your way just to keep you hooked. But you've got to see it for what it is, emotional bait. And the longer you keep biting, the longer you stay caged. Detachment starts when you stop feeding the illusion that they'll come back and suddenly treat you the way they should have when they had you. You know what's crazy? People often mistake silence for strength, but the hardest silence is the one you keep breaking yourself. Every time you go back, you reset your healing clock. Every text, every scroll, every stalk, it's like ripping off a scab before it turns into skin. You're not healing, you're restarting the pain. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That means the thing you're avoiding, letting go, is the very thing that'll save you. But you've got to stop fighting for something that stopped fighting for you. Detachment isn't about hating them, it's about loving yourself enough to stop bleeding for someone who doesn't even notice the cut. I know what you're thinking. But what if they miss me one day? What if they realize my value? Listen, if they couldn't see your worth when you were standing in front of them, what makes you think they'll suddenly see it when you're gone? You don't prove your value by waiting, you prove it by walking. Because distance speaks louder than begging ever could. Here's the hardest truth, folks. You can't outlove someone into changing. You can't pour enough loyalty into someone who's already made peace with losing you. And yet, so many people stay stuck because they confuse consistency with loyalty. But staying in pain isn't loyalty, it's self-abandonment. You can't be their savior and your own at the same time. Picture this. Your heart's a phone battery, and every time you check on them, you drain your own charge. They're not plugging you in, they're unplugging your peace. You wonder why you're exhausted, why you can't move on. It's because you're spending emotional energy on something that no longer powers your growth. You've got to pull the plug. You've got to let the battery recharge on silence, not obsession. And let me say this with love. You can't heal by keeping their ghost alive. You can't detach while keeping their energy in your atmosphere. Delete the pictures, block the access, mute the songs that smell like memory, because healing can't happen in a haunted house. Every time you walk through your mind and bump into their shadow, you're re-breaking your bones. It's time to move out of that old version of you. You might fear that letting go means losing them forever, but ask yourself, what are you really losing? Someone who left, someone who made you question your worth, someone who said they cared but acted like you were optional. You're not losing them, you're losing the illusion that you needed them to feel whole. And that's not loss, my friends, that's liberation. Remember this, detachment isn't rejection, it's redirection. It's your spirit saying, this chapter is done. There's more waiting, but you can't carry this pain into the next page. And yes, it'll be hard. The nights will feel heavy. You'll want to reach out. You'll want to peek at their life. But every time you resist, you're reclaiming your strength. Every time you stay silent, you're choosing peace over chaos. That's how warriors detach, not with rage, but with discipline. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And my friends, that's the truth of detachment. It's bravery, it's freedom. It's the decision to stop seeking closure from those who shattered it and instead find it in your own silence. So stop feeding what's trying to die. Stop replaying the movie when the ending already broke your heart. Stop reopening the wound just to make sure it still bleeds. Let it close. Let it heal. Let peace find you in the quiet. Because when you finally stop feeding the pain stops feeding on you. Say this out loud with me. I'm done feeding dead things. Type it in the comments right now. Show yourself. Show them. Show the world that you're reclaiming your peace. One boundary, one breath, one silent victory at a time. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going even deeper into the part that scares most people. When the silence gets loud and the withdrawals hit hard, that's where real detachment begins. Number 2, cut the access before it cuts you. You can't heal in peace while keeping a door open to your chaos. That line right there, my friends, might sting a little because you know exactly what it means. You can't say you're trying to move on while you're still leaving the back door unlocked for them to walk right back in. You can't talk about healing while secretly hoping they'll text. You can't talk about peace while keeping their number saved under a different name just in case. That's not healing. That's self-sabotage wearing a disguise of hope. See, detachment doesn't start in your mind. It starts in your environment. You can't detox while you're still sitting next to the drug. You can't dry off while standing in the rain. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They keep praying for strength while keeping access to their weakness. You know what I mean. You block them on Instagram, but check their TikTok. You delete the pictures, but keep the screenshots for memories. You tell yourself, I don't care anymore, but still peek at who they're following. Folks, that's not detachment. That's emotional relapse. That's like telling the world you quit smoking while keeping a pack in your pocket. And you wonder why it still hurts, why the pain feels fresh. Because you never closed the door. You just cracked it enough for the ghost to keep whispering through. You keep saying you're done, but your actions are still saying, maybe. My friends, you can't heal with maybe. You can't grow with sometimes. Healing only happens when you commit to silence. Full silence. Not the kind where you wait for them to notice, but the kind where you stop checking if they do. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's detachment in a single line. Because it's not about controlling them, it's about controlling the space they occupy in your world. When you stop giving them access, you take your power back inch by inch. Think about it like this. If you're trying to heal from alcohol, you don't keep bottles in the kitchen just in case. You lock them away. You remove temptation. You change your routine. You don't trust your craving. You build your discipline. That's exactly how emotional detox works. You can't trust the part of you that still wants to check on them. That part is addicted to the attention, not the love. And yes, it'll feel extreme. People will say, you're being too cold, or blocking them is childish. But you've got to understand, healing isn't about proving you're mature, it's about protecting your peace. You don't owe anyone access to your energy, especially someone who drained it without refilling it. You think you're being strong by keeping the line open, but strength is closing the door without needing applause. Because sometimes peace requires you to look cold in someone else's story just to stay warm in your own. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Most people don't heal because they keep checking the window to see if the storm's over. They don't realize the storm isn't outside anymore. It's inside them. You can't wait for them to calm down. You have to rebuild your peace from within, and that starts with silence. Cutting access doesn't mean you hate them. It means you respect yourself enough not to play with fire when you've already been burned. It's drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is where my peace begins. It's not being bitter, it's being wiser. Because wisdom knows that when someone has shown you they can disturb your peace, giving them access again is just volunteering for pain. And let me tell you something, when you finally go silent, really silent, that's when the mind starts playing tricks. It'll whisper, maybe they'll change, maybe they'll come back, maybe this time will be different. That's not intuition, that's withdrawal. That's your old emotional rhythm craving the chaos it's used to. But you've got to stay strong through that stage, because that silence, my friends, that silence is your surgery. That's where your soul starts stitching itself back together. Seneca said, "No man is free who is a slave to his emotions." And that's the essence of this step. Cutting access is cutting the chains. It's standing up and saying, I'm not available for the same pain twice. It's recognizing that every time you give them access, you hand them the scissors to cut open your progress. So go through your phone tonight. Delete the old conversations, mute the playlists, archive the memories that still sting. If it triggers the old version of you, it doesn't deserve space in the new one. Don't keep souvenirs of your suffering, because once you block the noise, you'll start to hear something powerful, your own peace returning. It's subtle at first. You'll wake up one morning and realize you didn't think about them for hours, then days, then weeks. And when that happens, you'll smile, not because you won the breakup, but because you finally won yourself back. So stop leaving the door cracked for chaos to crawl in. Lock it, bolt it, walk away without looking back. Let them wonder why their access got denied. Because while they're still stuck in cycles, you'll be out there living in silence, healing, glowing, and rebuilding a life they can't reach anymore. Say this out loud with me. Access denied, peace restored. Type it in the comments below. Let the world see it. Let yourself feel it. Because from this moment on, your peace is the password, and not everyone gets it anymore. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to talk about what happens after you cut the access, when the silence hits, the cravings start, and your emotions begin their detox. That's where the real fight begins. Number 3. Face the withdrawals without running. The absence of their chaos will feel like emptiness. Don't mistake that for loneliness. That quote, my friends, might just be the hardest pill to swallow. Because when you finally cut the access, when the phone goes quiet, when the dopamine hits, stop coming from those late-night texts or those breadcrumb notifications, you'll start to feel it. That ache in your chest, that sudden silence that feels louder than thunder. That's not love. That's withdrawal, and the faster you understand that, the faster you take back your power. See, detachment feels like detox because, in a way, it is. You've been feeding off their energy for so long. Every message, every call, every fight, every makeup, it all became your emotional caffeine. And when you stop drinking it, your soul starts to shake. That's not weakness, that's your body and your spirit recalibrating. You're not missing them, you're missing the chemical pattern they created inside you. Imagine your emotions like a radio that's been tuned to their frequency for months, maybe years. You've been listening to their noise, their words, their validation. And now that you've turned the dial, it's quiet. At first, that quiet feels unbearable. You start thinking, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should reach out just once. But no, my friends, you're not craving them. You're craving the comfort of the chaos you got used to. You have to understand this. When you detach from someone, especially someone you were emotionally bonded to, your brain literally goes through withdrawal. Dopamine drops, oxytocin dips. The same regions that light up during addiction light up during heartbreak. That's why it feels like a craving, because it is one. You were addicted to the attention, the routine, the comfort of being seen. And now you're facing the void where all that used to live. And this is where most people fold. They mistake detox for destiny. They start thinking, this must be a sign that I should go back. No, it's a sign that you're healing. When you stop feeding the addiction, your mind screams louder before it goes quiet. You're not meant to run from that noise. You're meant to sit in it and let it burn itself out. Because behind the discomfort is clarity. Behind the ache is peace. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." That's not cruelty, that's wisdom. Because pain isn't your enemy, avoidance is. Every time you escape discomfort, you extend the life of your pain. But when you face it, it starts to lose its power over you. Think of it like a broken bone being reset. It hurts like hell in the moment, but that's how it heals straight. The same thing happens emotionally. Every tremor, every restless night, every moment you want to pick up your phone, that's your heart resetting its rhythm without them. That's healing, not punishment. And I know what you might be thinking, but why does it feel so empty? Why does it feel like something's missing? Because something is missing. The chaos. You've been living with emotional noise for so long that silence feels unnatural. But peace always feels foreign to people who've been living in storms. Give it time. The silence that scares you today will be the peace that saves you tomorrow. Let's be real. Most people don't fear losing others. They fear facing themselves without distraction. Because when it's quiet, you can't hide anymore. You start hearing the things you've been avoiding, the truth about what you tolerated, the reality of what you settled for, and the voice of the person you forgot you were. That's why detachment feels like pain. It's not punishment, it's revelation. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." The same applies to your emotions. If your energy is still scattered across old memories, old conversations, old wounds, you're nowhere. But when you bring all that energy back home to yourself, that's when life starts to move again. You stop orbiting around them and start becoming your own center of gravity. So when the withdrawals hit, and they will, don't panic. Don't run back. Don't post the "I'm fine" story hoping they'll see it. Don't text just to check in. Sit with it. Breathe through it. Remind yourself, this ache is not forever. It's just my body remembering the old pattern. Every day you survive the urge, you're rewiring your brain. Every morning you wake up and don't reach out. You're teaching your heart that peace is possible. And the beautiful part? One day you'll wake up and that urge will be gone. No shaking, no restlessness, no more checking your phone. Just quiet, just peace. And you'll realize, wait, I'm okay. That moment right there, that's your victory. That's your soul finally detoxed. Remember this, real strength isn't how fast you move on. It's how long you can sit in silence without letting it break you. Detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about feeling everything and still choosing not to act on the weakness. That's what warriors do. They don't run from the pain, they walk through it. So when the cravings come, when loneliness creeps in, when your mind starts whispering just one more message, I want you to stop and say this to yourself. I'm not lonely, I'm cleansing. Because that's what this season is, a cleansing. You're removing the residue of what once drained you so your spirit can breathe again. Write it in the comments right now. I'm cleansing, not craving. Say it out loud. Own it. Let the world see that you're not running anymore. You're facing it head on. Because when you survive this stage, my friends, you won't just heal, you'll evolve. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to take that energy and start rebuilding. You'll learn how to replace the routine, not with distraction, but with a new purpose. Because once the detox ends, the rebirth begins. Number 4, replace the routine, don't leave the ruin. You can't build a new life in the ashes of the old one. That's a quote that hits harder the more you think about it, my friends. Because once you've cut the access, once you've faced the withdrawals, what's left? Silence, space, emptiness. That's where most people stumble. They confuse that silence for loneliness and end up running right back into the same fire they escaped. But what they don't realize is that detachment can't survive in emptiness. It only thrives in replacement. See, you can't just remove someone from your routine. You have to rebuild the rhythm they used to occupy. Otherwise, your mind will crave to fill the gap. And 9 times out of 10, it'll drag you right back to what hurt you. Because the human brain hates empty spaces. It doesn't care if something's healthy. It just wants to be familiar. And that's how people relapse. They go back to what broke them because it feels known. So here's the truth. Detachment isn't just subtracting, it's substituting. If you used to text them good morning every day, now wake up and write down 3 things you're grateful for. If you used to call them when you were stressed, now call someone who brings you peace instead of problems. If you used to scroll through old pictures at night, now journal your thoughts, hit the gym, or listen to something that feeds your spirit instead of draining it. You have to rewire the routine because every habit tied to them is a hook that keeps pulling you back. It's like a song you can't stop humming, even though you don't like it anymore. You have to learn new lyrics. You have to create new rhythms. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That means if you keep painting your days with memories of them, your life will always look like their shadow. But if you start flooding your hours with gratitude, growth, and grounding, that's when the color starts to shift. That's when the gray turns into light again. Imagine your mind like a house that's just been cleared of toxic energy. The rooms are empty, and the echoes are loud. Now, you can either let the ghosts move back in, or you can start redecorating. You can fill those walls with laughter again, new habits, new memories, new meaning. But you've got to pick up the paintbrush. Nobody's going to do it for you. You might think, but nothing feels the same. Everything feels dull. Of course it does. You were addicted to intensity. You were living off emotional highs and crashes. Now that you're sober from the chaos, life feels steady, and that steadiness can feel boring at first. But don't confuse peace with emptiness. Boring is what healing feels like before it starts to feel beautiful. And here's something most people won't tell you. Rebuilding yourself after detachment is not glamorous. It's not always going to feel empowering. Sometimes it's going to feel like brushing your teeth with tears in your eyes, forcing yourself to eat, dragging yourself to the gym, or journaling when you'd rather cry. But all of that, those quiet moments, that's the work. That's where real transformation happens. You're rewiring your nervous system, not for survival this time, but for stability. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who used to take the same road to work every day, a road full of potholes. Every morning he cursed it, every evening he came home angry about it. One day the road closed for construction, and he was forced to take a longer route. At first he hated it, but over time he realized the new route was smoother, quieter, and gave him more peace. The potholes were gone, but it took discomfort to find that out. That's exactly how it feels when you replace old routines. The first steps are awkward. The new road feels strange, but keep walking it, and peace becomes the new normal. Seneca said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." But most people never reach the new because they keep sitting at the end. They keep rereading the last chapter instead of writing the next one. My friends, it's time to write again. You have to learn to give your emotions a new home. Let your discipline replace your distraction. Let your gym sessions replace your anxiety. Let your journaling replace your overthinking. Let your goals replace their memory. Because every time you pour energy into your evolution, you starve your attachment. And eventually it dies, not because you forced it, but because you outgrew it. And listen, don't expect it to feel natural right away. You're rebuilding muscle memory. At first it'll feel like work, but one day you'll catch yourself smiling in the middle of something small, a quiet morning, a good meal, a random moment, and you'll realize you didn't think about them once. That's not just healing, that's transformation. That's you creating a life where they no longer exist as the main character. So stop staring at the ruins and start rebuilding the rhythm. Replace every reminder with a reason. Replace every "I miss them" with "I'm proud of me." Replace every void with value. Because detachment isn't about erasing what was, it's about rewriting what's next. Say this out loud. I replace pain with purpose. Type it in the comments below, my friends. Show them, show yourself, show the world that you're not broken, you're rebuilding, you're not empty, you're evolving, you're not lost, you're leveling up. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to take this even deeper. I'm going to show you how to flood your environment with new energy, because once your surroundings start changing, your soul has no choice but to follow. Number 5. Flood your environment with new energy. You can't heal in a room still haunted by your past. That quote, my friends, might just be one of the most powerful truths you'll ever hear. Because a lot of people think detachment is just about what happens inside their heart. But they forget that their surroundings play a huge part in keeping them chained. You can't expect to feel free when everything around you still smells like them, sounds like them, and echoes the memories you're trying to escape. Your environment holds energy. And if you don't change that energy, you'll keep reliving the same pain on different days. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt heavy, like the air itself remembers what happened there? That's not your imagination. That's an emotional residue. Every song, every scent, every little item sitting on a shelf can trigger a memory. It's like your soul keeps getting ambushed by ghosts. You think you've moved on, and then a random song hits, and suddenly you're back in that car, that night, that version of yourself that thought they'd stay forever. That's why this step matters, because you can't heal while living in a museum of your pain. So here's where the real work begins. You have to flood your environment with new energy. You have to make your surroundings reflect the new story you're writing. That might mean rearranging your room, getting rid of the things they gave you, changing your playlist, or even taking a different route to work. Every little shift sends a message to your subconscious. We're not living there anymore. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." I'd add that your environment becomes dyed with the color of your memories. If your space still carries their fingerprints, you're going to feel them even in their absence. So wipe it clean. It's time to repaint, reorganize, and reclaim your atmosphere. Think of your environment like soil. You can't plant new seeds in ground poisoned by the past. You've got to dig it up, remove the roots, and make space for new growth. That's not just cleaning, that's spiritual renovation. It's saying, this space belongs to peace now, not pain. And look, I know some of you might think, but it's just stuff, it doesn't matter. Oh, but it does, because every item carries energy. That hoodie that still smells like them, it's not comfort, it's a chain. That photo you keep just in case, it's not nostalgia, it's a wound disguised as memory. Every time you keep something that drags you back emotionally, you're telling the universe you're still available for the same lesson. You've got to prove that you're ready for new energy by letting go of the old anchors. I once heard someone say, if you want new blessings, clear the table. You can't ask for new peace while leaving crumbs from your old chaos. Detachment isn't passive, it's active. You've got to move energy to receive new energy. That's why cleaning your space, changing your routine, and going to new places actually help. You're not running away. You're creating new memories that don't involve pain. Here's something practical, my friends. Try going somewhere you've never been before. A park, a coffee shop, a hiking trail, anything. Let new air hit your lungs. Let your eyes see something your heart doesn't associate with them. Because your environment rewires your emotions. When you put your body in new places, your mind learns that life still exists beyond the person you lost. You start to realize the world didn't end, it just expanded. Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The same goes for heartbreak. The one who keeps craving the old energy stays emotionally poor. But the one who learns to appreciate new beauty, new sounds, new experiences, new peace, becomes rich in spirit again. So maybe it's time to change the playlist. Delete that song that keeps dragging you back. Add music that speaks to where you're going, not where you've been. Maybe it's time to redecorate your room, not to erase the past, but to make space for the present. Put up quotes that remind you of your strength. Burn incense, light candles, or open the windows and let fresh air sweep through your space. Every small act is a declaration. I'm choosing life again. And let's be real, it's not going to feel like fireworks right away. Sometimes cleaning that space will make you cry. Sometimes throwing away that hoodie will feel like losing a piece of yourself. But that's not loss. That's release. You're not throwing away love. You're releasing the energy that no longer serves it. And slowly, as the days pass, that heaviness begins to lift. The same room that once made you ache starts to feel peaceful. The same drive that once brought tears becomes just another road. You'll start to notice new light coming in, not just through your windows, but through your spirit. That's when you know the flood worked. The ghosts are gone, and the new energy is here. Because the truth is, healing can't happen in still air. You need movement, new sounds, new colors, new experiences. Life moves forward, and so must you. Every time you change your surroundings, you remind yourself that change is safe. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes to let go of what doesn't belong anymore. So do it, my friends. Flood your environment with life again. Replace every reminder of them with a reflection of you. Fill your space with purpose, with gratitude, with things that speak peace instead of pain. Because when your world starts to look new, your heart will finally start to believe it's free. Say this with me: my space, my peace, my power. Type it in the comments right now. Show the world that you're not living in memories anymore. You're living in motion. You're breathing new air. You're walking into a new chapter. And stay with me, because in the next part, we're going to dig even deeper. You've cleared the space, but now it's time to guard it, to remind yourself daily why you left, so you never go back to what once broke you. Number 6, keep your receipts of pain. Selective memory is the devil's favorite tool for pulling you back into what almost destroyed you. That one stings, doesn't it? Because deep down you know it's true. When the nights get quiet and the memories start replaying like a highlight reel, you don't remember the lies, the silence, the arguments, or the disrespect. You remember the laughs, the late-night talks, and the moments that made you believe it was real. That's how the mind traps you. It edits your past like a movie, cuts out the painful scenes, and leaves only the romantic ones. And before you know it, you're standing in the wreckage, wondering why you miss the very thing that broke you. My friends, this is where a lot of people lose their healing. They start rewriting history in their head. They start believing the good moments meant more than the bad ones. But detachment isn't just about letting go of someone. It's about remembering why you had to. Because emotions lie, but evidence doesn't. That's why I say, keep your receipts of pain. Write them down. Every time you remember something that hurt you, every time you recall how they made you feel small, confused, or unwanted, document it. Put it on paper. Don't rely on memory, because the heart is a terrible historian. It always wants to edit the truth to make the past look softer than it was. But when you write it down, it becomes real. It becomes undeniable. You see, the brain has a funny way of protecting you. It wants comfort more than truth. So when you start to miss them, it'll feed you the fantasy. It'll show you their smile, but not their silence. It'll replay the hugs, but not the cold shoulder. It'll whisper, maybe it wasn't that bad. That's not intuition. That's emotional withdrawal, trying to pull you back into your cage. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where that power comes in. When your emotions start trying to rewrite the story, you use your receipts to remind them of what really happened. You pull out your truth when your feelings start lying to you. It's like this. If you were bitten by a dog that looked friendly, you'd remember that bite before petting the next one. That's not holding a grudge, that's learning a lesson. So when you keep your receipts, you're not being bitter, you're being wise. You're building emotional boundaries based on facts, not fantasies. And yes, it'll hurt to write it down. It'll hurt to see the truth in ink. But pain is the best teacher when you stop trying to silence it. Those words on that page, that's not weakness. That's accountability. That's you saying, I won't lie to myself again. So grab that notebook, my friends. Start listing the moments they dismissed you. The times they ignored your effort, the days you gave your all and got crumbs in return. Write the nights you cried yourself to sleep while they were busy living unbothered. Write down every maybe later that became never. Don't sugarcoat it. Be raw, be honest, be ruthless with your truth. Because one day, when your mind starts whispering, maybe I overreacted, you'll have proof. You'll have pages reminding you that you didn't imagine the neglect. You'll have evidence that your love wasn't the problem, their inconsistency was. You'll stop blaming yourself for trying and start thanking yourself for leaving. Seneca said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." That means reliving the pain through fantasy only multiplies it. Every time you romanticize what hurt you, you're extending your suffering. But when you face the truth, when you keep those receipts, the pain stops owning you. You own it. Think of it like keeping your receipts after a bad purchase. If something breaks, you don't argue whether it was defective. You show proof. You say, "This didn't work." That's what your emotional receipts are. Proof that you invested in something that wasn't built to last. It's not to shame them, it's to protect you. And here's the thing, one day they might try to come back. They'll text, they'll test the waters, they'll try to charm their way in with the same lines that used to melt your walls. That's when you pull out the receipts. That's when you remember how they made you feel when you were the one fighting alone. That's when you say, "No thanks, I've read this story before, and I know how it ends." Because truth is the ultimate closure. You don't need them to admit it. You don't need them to say sorry. You don't even need them to understand what they did. You just need to stop lying to yourself about what you went through. That's the closure they'll never be able to take away from you. And when you look back at those pages, at those lists, those words, those reminders, you'll feel something shift inside you. You'll stop aching for them, and you'll start appreciating yourself for surviving them. You'll realize that the version of you who stayed too long was doing their best, and the version of you who finally walked away. That's the hero of the story. So keep your receipts of pain, my friends. They're not reminders of heartbreak. They're reminders of strength. They're not proof you were weak. They're proof you were loyal to the wrong person and brave enough to learn from it. Say this out loud. I remember, so I don't repeat. Type it in the comments. Let it be your declaration to the world that you're done rewriting the past just to make it look prettier, that you're done watering dead flowers, that you're done pretending the pain was love. Because when you face the truth head-on, you stop running in circles, and when you stop running, that's when real peace begins. Stay with me, because in the next part we're going to talk about what happens after remembering, after the truth, the glow-up, the silence, the kind of growth that turns detachment into power, the kind that even they will feel from miles away. Number 7. Glow in silence. A lion doesn't need to announce it's a lion. The silence of its presence says enough. That's the truth right there, my friends. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone who couldn't see it. You don't have to post your peace or announce your healing. You don't need to shout to be noticed, because real power, real peace, real detachment, it glows, quietly, silently, but unmistakably. See, most people waste their comeback by trying to make sure their audience is watching. They want their ex, their doubters, their enemies to see their transformation. They want revenge through visibility. But that's not detachment. That's still dependence, just in disguise. When you truly glow in silence, you stop performing for people who never deserved front row seats in your story. Silence is the final stage of healing. It's where peace stops being something you're chasing and becomes something you embody. It's when you stop needing to prove that you've moved on, because your energy already says it all. You don't post the glow up, you become it. You don't talk about your progress, you are the progress. Imagine this. A seed doesn't make noise when it grows. The roots dig deep in silence. The tree rises in stillness. The flower blooms without asking for applause. But one day, it's standing tall, strong, grounded, and beautiful, while everything that doubted its growth realizes it bloomed right under their nose. That's you. That's what silent healing looks like. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who wronged you." Read that again. The best revenge is not payback, it's peace. It's showing that you didn't just survive, you evolved. You outgrew the chaos, outshined the pain, outlasted the version of yourself that used to chase validation. That's the kind of glow they can't compete with. And here's the thing. Silence doesn't mean apathy. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've learned that not everything deserves your reaction. You don't respond to every text, every rumor, every little attempt to get your attention, because your energy is too expensive for cheap drama. Silence becomes your boundary, the invisible wall between you and the world's noise. People start wondering what changed. They'll look for your posts, your stories, your reactions, and find nothing. That nothing will bother them more than anything you could ever say. Because silence makes people face themselves. It forces them to realize they no longer have power over your emotions. My friends, glowing in silence means your focus shifts from proving to improving. You stop asking, "Do they miss me?" and start asking, "How can I become my best self?" You pour that energy into your health, your goals, your body, your mind. You learn a new skill. You read, you train, you build, you grow. You stop chasing closure and start chasing clarity. You know what's funny? The moment you stop caring whether they see your progress, that's when they do. They feel it. Energy doesn't lie. They'll sense that something's different, that your silence has peace in it, not pain, that your absence has confidence in it, not confusion. That the version of you who used to chase is gone, replaced by someone untouchable. Seneca said, "To be calm is the highest achievement of the self." And that's what silence gives you. Calm. You no longer move out of reaction, you move out of intention. You no longer act out of emotion, you act out of wisdom. You stop trying to win someone back and start winning yourself back. That's where real glow comes from. alignment, not attention. You'll start noticing subtle changes. The things that used to trigger you don't anymore. The urge to check their profile disappears. The thought of them no longer makes your stomach twist. It just passes through, like a cloud. That's detachment at its finest. When peace becomes your default setting, and you'll realize something profound. The moment you stop trying to be seen is the moment you become impossible to ignore, because silent strength shines louder than words ever could. They'll look at you and wonder how you healed so fast, how you became so focused, how you look so at ease, but they won't understand that it wasn't a glow-up for them. It was a resurrection for you. So let your silence speak. Let your consistency be your loudest language. Let your glow confuse those who once broke you, and when they finally notice, don't go back to explain your piece. Just smile, because silence doesn't need closure. It is closure. My friends, glow in silence. Protect your peace like it's sacred. Build in private, heal in quiet, move with intention. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You just owe yourself the discipline to keep rising. Say this out loud right now. My silence is my power. Type it in the comments so it's written in the universe. Let the world see that you're done explaining, done chasing, done performing. You're stepping into quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need permission or attention. And if this message hits home, if it reminds you of your strength, your worth, your power, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it right now, because we rise together. And the more we share the truth, the more we help others break free from the noise. Until next time, my friends, protect your peace, honor your silence, and remember this: when you choose calm over chaos, you've already won.